What's up everyone, Nick from Modz. A lot of you guys have been asking how to swap the cases of your factory Sony PlayStation controller into the Modz PlayStation controller, which actually nobody's ever bought just a case yet. We've only been selling complete controllers, simply due to the fact that I can't buy just the cases from Sony, but Microsoft will sell me just the cases of the Xbox controllers. The Sony controllers are really easy. There's 5 screws on the back side and 1 screw on the inside. A standard Phillips screwdriver will work just fine. Just basically take the screws out. Now there are a couple different PlayStation controllers. This is a DualShock 3 6-axis, which is actually one of my favorite ones because it's only 2 pieces and the inside's all actually molded together. If you have the DualShock 2 or the non-6-axis one, it's a 4-piece case and a 3-piece internal, which makes it a little bit more difficult to put together. Plus the actual circuit boards are like kind of stuck into each other. You actually have to kind of hold it together, and it's a real pain in the ass. So once you get those 5 screws out, just push them out of the way. Now pulling the case apart usually should come apart pretty easy. Just gotta make sure on these ones that the actual little spacer deal between the 1 and 2 button actually stays together. So you gotta kind of have to try to pop off it over like that. And then now once you get in here, there's gonna be another screw on your circuit board, which is right in there. Take that screw out. Boom. Using your middle fingers, what I usually use, just pop up, and those will kind of pop everything else out. Pop the whole center of the board out. Then you can kind of just jiggle this out. Boom. And boom. This one for some reason does not want to come out. And everything comes out just like that. And then you're going to have your buttons and your D-pad in here. Your buttons only go in one way, so don't have to really worry about that. Now on your D-pad, once you take this cover off, you can see there's this little spacer deal right there. Make sure when you put your D-pad back in the new case that you put the D-pad back in the same exact way. Pull this little cover piece out. Boom. And now we will, you gotta pull this out here. Usually you can kind of, sometimes it'll pop right out, but sometimes not. Sometimes you gotta use a small, like a tip of a knife or a razor blade and push in on those little LED little lights there, so that way this will actually pop out. Let's see, this one must come out. It does not. So you just push it in a little bit, and then usually it comes right out, and that way you'll put that in the new controller. Alright, now what I'm going to do is actually go ahead and put all the internals into this case. Alright guys, now that we got all of our pieces here, we're going to go ahead and swap it into the new Modz case. So what you're going to do is you want to work it from the back side. Start by putting the little LED clip piece back in, so that way you actually can see which one's lighting up and which one's not. Push that in, take your PS button. Now a lot of the buttons are only going to be able to go in one way, so if it's trying to go in and it's not going in, obviously it doesn't go that way, so don't put it in that way. Put your D-pad, put this back in. Shake a boom boom. Come on. I don't do a lot of PlayStation controllers, so I don't know where the buttons go. It takes me a minute to figure them out. Circle goes where, guys? Somebody help me out here. I can't tell. I think it goes right over here. No? Yes? Maybe? Alright, circle goes there. Triangle goes up top, right? Triangle up top? Yeah. X goes on the bottom. Yeah. Square goes on this side. Now, probably the hardest part of the actual putting the PlayStation controllers together is its stupid #1 button. It's really freaking annoying because every time you try to put it together, it actually wants to come out. Now, on the PlayStation controllers, guys, when you're putting these together, this little circuit board piece has to touch this piece. There's a little white piece that sticks up further here that will actually pop through this front other circuit board. So just make sure that pops through and actually locks itself into place before you put this actually in there. See how the two little prongs poke through? So once those poke through, then you simply just drop it in, more or less. Line up your thumbsticks with your fingers and try to get it to drop in. Boom. See, it'll lock itself in more or less. That locks itself in. Now, once you get this locked into here, take that screw and put it back in your circuit board, so that way it's going to hold all this stuff in. That way you're not trying to hold it in while you're trying to work in the number 1 little button for the trigger area. So tighten that down. Just a standard Phillips head screwdriver. It's actually a number 0, standard 0, not a 00 or a 1, 2 zeros or anything. Now these actually have to line up inside this little casing here. Before you actually line them up, keep them kind of pulled out a little bit. Drop your number 1 button back in, and then push it in like that. Same thing with this side. Keep it out a little bit. Put that in. And then push that in. It doesn't want to go in right now. Come on. Come on. These are a pain in the ass, PlayStation controllers. Oh, come on. See why I don't like PlayStation controllers? Dog's whining at the door. He obviously wants to go out. Okay, boom. Your little battery carrier. Drop that in. Drop that in. Now, this is the fun part. Since this one is the 6-axis and the DualShock 3, it's got the 2-piece actual case to where these pieces are going to stay in. The trick here is to try and get these over these without pulling those off, because they come off very easily, and it's very, very annoying trying to put them back in after the controller's already been put back together. So you got to kind of finagle it to get together, but usually it goes together. Boom, 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 just like that. Put your 5 screws back in the back side of the controller here. Hand on one of these. And wham bam, thank you ma'am.